Hey everyone, welcome to episode number 6, and this is creating our own auth part 2. Let me mute myself so I don't hear that echo the whole time. Okay, so I've got up on screen here just taking care of our business as we're wont to do at the start of a stream. Left side of the screen here, this is all the things we did yesterday, focused on authentication. So we're talking about mainly login, creating a login endpoint on our API, creating an access token, sending that access token over to the client. And then on the client side, created a new lib, created a login form, created a service for logging in and storing that access token in local storage, and then creating an HTTP interceptor for inserting that access token as a header into requests to our API. So at this point, we have our client all set up so that if it has an access token, it's going to send it across the wire as a header to our API. Right now, though, the API is just indiscriminately processing requests right now. So first thing we're going to want to do today is we're going to want to implement authorization on the API side so that we're actually looking at the access token that comes across for the header. If there's no access token, we are going to reject the request. If there is an access token that's incorrect, we're also going to reject it. So we're pretty much going to check to see if the access token matches the one we created for the user when they logged in. So we'll do that. We're then going to go and create an NgRx state for client's auth state, and we're going to do some stuff to make things a little better. So we're only going to show our login form when not logged in. Otherwise, we're going to show our name, and we're going to only show our post list if we're logged in. And then we're going, if we have time, we'll see. We got a lot on the plate for today, so I'm trying to rush through the regular stuff here. Handle cases where a user restarts the app with a still valid access token. So that access token, we're saving it to local storage, which means it's going to persist if like the user restarts our front end app here. So we're going to want to make sure that we have like in that case, the user doesn't have to relog in. So we'll just handle that real quick. Let's take a look at how things are looking over here. Again, you can see we've got all our posts right here. We've got our username and password. So we're able to log in and see some successful stuff come back from that. We're able to create a post and we're able to see the headers there. It kind of doesn't matter if the header's there or not yet. And let's run npx nx step graph, and let's just see how things are looking right now. So we can see we made a few changes last time. So we created this front end auth module over here. And we created our backend auth module over here. And you'll notice they're actually like decoupled from the backend posts equivalents. We're actually going to be drawing a line where posts depends on auth here in the web client because we're going to want to. I guess I don't know if that's going to be the line. That might actually be just handled by our NgRx stuff. I think that's actually going to be the case. But we are going to need to draw a line between front-end auth to our NgRx stuff here because we'll be making some actions that we'll need to handle inside of our auth reducer, inside of our auth state. Similar over here on the API side, post is going to, hopefully after today, depend on our backend auth module because it's going to be using a piece of middleware that we're going to expose via that index.ts file from our backend auth. So cool. Let's, without wasting too much more time, let's jump into it. And let me scale this down a little bit. It's too small. I think that's good. Cool. So let's start here. So we're going to create an authorized middleware for Express. I need to figure out a better arrow so I don't have to always erase that. But let's go to our stuff here. We want to have, this is our backend auth lib. We're going to have a new file here, and we're going to call this Authorized. There we go. And let's see. So we're going to export constant authorize. Let's have that a no op for now, so we can make sure our index is exporting it. Spelled that wrong. Ooh. All right, there we go. All right. So for authorize, so we'll just type this as a request now. I'm not sure if there's like a better type for actual proper middleware, but we'll make this an async with a request, a response, and a next. So the idea here is we're going to have our authorization come through on the body. So I'm going to just destructure I think it was called authorization. So request dot headers as some authorization. It's a string. All right, let's make sure. Open over here. Where did we set? So that was in like the interceptor. So set auth header interceptor. Set authorization with a capital A. Okay. Let's set authorization. Is this how we do that? Or is it the other way around? I think it's the other way around. So we'll actually call this just access token. Call it access token from the header. There we go. And then we'll say if there is no access token from the header, we're just going to respond with the status 401. So that's not authenticated or not authorized. What is 401? Unauthorized. There we go. This is something like that. All right. So I'll just say not authorized. I'll just do that. I'll just second guess myself. Unauthenticated. That's what we need. Okay. And then we're going to return, because we just want to send the response. We don't want to we don't want to call next to let the next piece go. So now we are going to get our access token from the Mongo database, from our access tokens collections, and we're going to find our user from that. So we're going to say constant access token equals my 2-year-old's calling for me at the door, but she knows she's not supposed to right now. Poor baby. So we're going to do collection with ID and access token, Mongo access token. That's right. Oops. She's telling me right now to open the door. Not right now, baby. Go find mama. Love you. Alright, sorry about that, y'all. Access tokens. And we're going to find one. And where the the query for this is we're going to find one where the access token, I don't need an underscore here, is our access token from the header, right? So by the time we get through with this, we'll have our access token is going to be a with ID. Is that right? I think I shouldn't just do this without the with ID. Okay, there we go. So it's going to be a with ID with the access token that has a user ID, access token string, and a created at. Cool. So I think that's what I want. So now we're going to find our user. Well, first let's do this. We'll say if there is no access token. So pretty much if we didn't find a matching access token to the one in the header, we're going to respond with another 401. And we'll just copy this. Actually, we shouldn't be doing that. Let's do this. We'll say constant reject response. So then we'll do. You know, let's just let's not get too fancy. No sense adding that weird complexity just to save the line of code. Go response. That's 401 send, and then we're going to return if that doesn't work. So there we go. Now we know at this point we have a access token that matches, so we're going to get our user at this point. So we're going to await mongo.collection user, call it users.find one. We're going to find ones where the ID is equal to the access token dot user ID. So that will give us our user. And then we'll say if there is no user, I don't know why that would happen. Do that. I think that's like a 500 really at this point. We'll just put something went wrong here. There we go. So if no user, we have to send back a 500, say something went wrong with the app. We shouldn't have it where we have an actual access token, but we don't have a user. That would just not make sense. So now we're going to say our request. We're going to take our request and we're going to kind of mutably change it. So we're going to say press does any.user equals our user, and now we're going to call next. And that's it. There we go. So the idea is now we have, let's go back to here, we have our authorized middleware done. It's being exported from our auth module. So now we're going to want to take it and bring it into the content posts router. So pretty much here, so we're already using the body parser. We're going to have it now say router.use authorize. Import authorize from Zach live stream backend auth. Go. So by using this middleware, we're pretty much going to say anything coming through this router, so anything trying to do anything with a post, we are first going to, before we run any request handler, we're going to check to make sure that header is attached to the request and it's valid, and we're also going to attach a user to the request going forward. So from here on out, I can go into my create post, for example, and I'll know who the user is who created it. I think that's next, what we have next here. So we're now using our middleware on the content post router. So we'll say that's done. And we'll adjust our create post request handler to use the authorized user info. Okay, so we'll save all this and we'll go to create posts. And we'll do this here. So our content is equal to the request body, and we'll say constant user equals rec.user as Mongo user. And we'll put a little any here. I'll have to figure out how to do this, the type checking properly here. But this is good enough for forcing it for now. So now we have our Mongo user here, the name, username, and password. Probably don't want this in here eventually. Like, there's no need to expose the username and password further. But that's okay. It does have the ID there, so that's the main thing we want. So really here for our new post, we want to, so a Mongo content post is going to have an author ID of a string. I almost think that should be a object ID instead. Let's take a look at that. So let's go to our models. So our content post, our Mongo content post. Let's see if we can switch this up. We're going to make this an object ID instead. Save that, and we'll say this down here, .to hex string, to make sure that data contract holds up. So now we can get kind of rid of the set author ID, and we'll use instead our user.id here. So it's going to match the access token that came in with the request. Then going to do all that and send across. So the new post .author ID, we need to take this and call to hex string to make that a string. I think it'd actually go across as a string, but hey, I'm just careful, I'll say. Let's call it that. Okay, I think that does it for creating the post. Let's mark that one as done. How are we doing on time? We're doing pretty good. We may actually get through all this stuff today, unless Brandon shows up again. Brandon and Lars. I don't see him in here yet though, so I think we're good. Okay, so we're going to add a logout, request handler, and endpoint. All right, so let's do that real quick. So we're going to go back to our backend auth. We're going to add a new file here. We're going to call it logout.ts. So for logout, let me pull up this real quick. So we're going to export const logout is a request handler, so async request and response. So we're going to say constant user, just like we did before. It's on our request as any user. It's Mongo user. We are going to say if there is no user. Well, I think we don't really need to check if there isn't a user because we're going to actually use the authorized middleware here. So no sense in checking there isn't a user. There definitely needs to be a user. So I'll just leave this out, and we'll know if something came in without a user. That would be bad. Okay, so we're going to say constant result. Do I even need that? Yes, I think I do because I want to log this out. Okay, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to say result is equal to await mongo.collection of access tokens. Not what I wanted. Mongo access token. There we go. And we'll call it access tokens. That's the name of our collection. we're called delete many. So we're going to delete anything here with the user ID of user dot user dot ID. There you go. Boom. All right, here we're going to console.log to say deleted result dot deleted count access tokens. So pretty much what's happening here is we have these access tokens we're storing in the database. Again, probably better to use like Redis or something like that. Maybe we'll get into that later when we can make this more robust. But for now, because we're using Mongo, we're just going to keep using Mongo. We're going to, so because we're sticking the Mongo or the access tokens into the database, we need a way to remove them. So for now, we're just having Logout being our way of doing that. We'd probably want to do some sort of cron job or give it a TTL, a time to live, before they just expire. And I think Redis has some really good tools for just being able to set that right away, so you don't have to worry about anything further. But with the tool set we have, I think we'll just use Logout here for now as a way of invalidating access tokens, and we'll harden it later. And but this kind of captures the idea of it. So access tokens are only available for a limited amount of time. Hopefully that could reduce the impact of anything if someone got their hands on an access token. So then finally we'll send a status, just send a 200 if that works. So now we have a way for people to log out. Alrighty. And I think that clears out everything we wanted to do for this first section here. Let's mark this as done. So let's go into NgRx state for client's auth state. So we want to have something right now. So let's take a look at the components here. So the login form, login component. It amazes me how badly I can mistype those and it still recognizes it sometimes. But let's clean out that. So right now we have our login component. It's having the auth service injected directly into it, and we're calling a method when we log in. And that's probably fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Personally, I think that components should be more just UI components, and stuff like this should be handled on some other level. So that's kind of what I'm going to set up for this. Ideally, so instead of injecting the auth service here, we'll just inject the store. Submit login is just going to dispatch an action. This is going to expose a little security vulnerability, because really the way I think we're going to do this, we're going to dispatch it with the username and password in here, and like we'll be able to see the password like in the Redux dev tools. So we're going to try to fix that up a little bit, and not today, but somewhere down the line. So let's go ahead. Let's actually just go into our other lib right here. So we're going to call this. So this has all this stuff here. I'm just going to create a new file. Call this auth actions.ts, and we're going to export const. I don't want really request login. That's too generic. Let's say user, or let's call it submit login form equals create select, not create selector, create action. Give it the type login form submit, and this will have props of a username is a string, the password is a string. There we go. Export const login failed, create action. We'll just give this the name. So this will be, we'll call this the Auth API login failed. And we could probably take the reason there, but we won't for now. Maybe later we'll use it. Login succeeded. Create action. Auth API. Login succeeded. And we may have to adjust the props for this later on down the road. Oh, not what I wanted. Because I'm not sure. I don't think we're actually going to want the access token here in memory. We're just going to want to say the props is a user, which is a user. That way we can kind of set the user inside of that auth slice that we'll make later down here. All right, so we have half of it done. Let's just copy this and throw it in here. We'll hit submit logout. I don't even know what we'd call the scope of this. Logout user. I don't know. That kind of works. Don't need any props for this one. Oops. Stop that. All right. The weird thing about this is I don't know what we'd really do with the logout failed, but let's do it, I guess. Logout failed is auth API logout failed and logout succeeded equals logout succeeded. There you go. And don't need that. Okay, action's done. Done. All right, so now we're going to create our auth state and reducer. We're going to logged in and a user to manage. Okay, so we're going to go back to our auth here, and we're going to come in here. We're going to create a new folder. We'll call it plus state. Is that what we did with the other one? No, we didn't have the plus. Let me rename that. So we'll have new file, new folder. I'm having a hard time. Today. Folder. There you go. Let's call it regular state. There we go. And we're going to new file in here. So we're going to call this authreducer.ts. And let's have this open over here. I'm going to go down to our actions things over here, and I'm going to call this auth dot state. I don't know. Is that state interface.ts? I don't know. Let's just call it that for now. Export interface auth state. So we're going to have a logged in, which is going to be not attempted, or it's going to be pending, or it's going to be logged in. Right, so this will kind of be the three states. So the idea is when we log in, so we'll start out with not attempted. When we log in or we try to validate an access token, we'll go to pending, and then from there we'll go to logged in. If it succeeds, otherwise we'll go back to not attempted. And that'll be just fine. Then we have user, which is a user. And we're going to import that user from Zach. Why doesn't it have that anymore? Sad day. Let's see. It's got to be in one of these, right? Doesn't like it. Good find module. Let's try restarting. I don't know why it would say that. Why would it say that to me? There we go. I think that works. So now we have our auth state over here. We want to go back to our reducer. Let's bring it over here. So we're going to export const reducer is equal to create reducer. And let's try import create reducer from NgRx/store. Initial state, create reducer of type auth state. Gotta import that. Let's see. Go back to here. Export star from lib/auth actions. So auth state interface. Go. VS Code will never cease to amaze me on what it can't pick up on. From Zach, livestream, front end. I think that one. There we go. Alright. So first off, we're going to want to have. Oh, what happened to this? There it goes. So we're going to want to start out with logged in being not attempted. We're going to have our user be null. Let's make sure. There you go. So that works. Then after that, we're going to want our ons on, and we're going to want to use from the actions. Where do the actions go? Let's throw the actions up here. There we go. And let's turn that down for now. So on the submit login form, we're going to take our state, and we're going to return whatever that state is. Well, let's say really all we need needs to be logged in of pending. I need a parentheses around that. Right? Is it not like that? Let's see. Have that. So I'll take. Submit login form. Users redeclared here. I don't know what this is about. Let's see. Let's try. Am I missing something? Let's have this be on one line. Go. Have our on here. Go. Why doesn't it like this? State is declared, but its value is never read. Maybe we can just get rid of that. So it's supposed to be the state plus the action and returns a new state. Oh, that's what I need. Maybe that's it. So user is null. There we go. That's what we needed. Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry about the screaming. Login failed. We're going to have. Doesn't really matter what comes through here. We're going to go back to logged in. It's not attempted. User is still going to be null. On a login succeeded, we're going to have some state plus some user. I think we need to destructure that user. So we'll actually, like, we have the state there. Let's put a little underscore to show we're not using it. So we're going to have logged in, and we're going to have user. There we go. On submit logout. There we go. We're going to have, well, it doesn't really matter what's coming in. Just going to go back to logged in is not attempted. I think that makes sense. No, I think I'm going to do it the other way actually. Let's finish this to get rid of our reds first. User's null. Alright, so the question here is kind of when do we want to get rid of the user? I'm actually not going to do it when we first submit the logout. I'm going to do it when either the logout fails or the logout succeeds. Logout succeeded. I think I need a comma up there. So this way, so if we click it and there's some pending period in there, we're not actually going to be logged out until after we get a response either way. I think that makes more sense. I think that is more what the user is going to expect. Logging them out or discarding the user as far as the client's concerned as soon as they click the button is going to be snappier, but I think it's going to be a little bit misleading. So do this. I wonder actually, can I do it like this? Logout succeeded. Oh, that still works. I'm going to do it that way. So I guess ons are kind of like the way you handle your actions in the reducer, so you can take multiple of them here. Really, I could probably throw in log and fail to up here too, but I think that's, I kind of like having that on its own line. Logout failed and logout succeeded, though. In my mind, it makes sense, so I'm going to leave it. Cool. Let's see what we're doing here. We got this. This is done. Done. We're going to create our auth effects. Cool. So inside here, up into auth and state, we're going to create a new file, auth.effects.ts. And this is going to be an injectable export class auth effects. VS Code, why do you do this to me? Injectable from Angular. Is that common? I think that's, it might be core. Yep. Alright, so we have our auth effects. We're going to have in the constructor, we're going to inject a private auth service. It's an auth service. Really, VS Code? Really? Alright. Auth. I wonder if maybe I spelled this wrong. Maybe I'm. Oh. Don't want that. And this is going to be .. /auth service. There you go. What does it look like about this? Okay, whatever. Cool. And then here we're going to have called create effect. Going to need import create effect from NgRx/effects. I'm actually going to bring in our action stream here as well. Private actions, go, and we'll have this one. So we'll say constant login equals create effect, and we'll say this starts with this actions pipe of type. We'll have this be login, or rather submit login form. Of course, it can't import that. Let's do it ourselves. From this is gonna be at sec. Oh, it's something's going on with it. Oh, no, I thought it was picking up on it. No, I just made more work for myself. Zach live stream front end slash, what do we call that? What did we call that? It was called RCircle Web Client Actions. RCircle Web Client Actions. Get rid of one of those. Alright. So whenever we get a login form action, we are going to switch map that. Let me pull up my snippets just to make sure. I think we're going to want to switch map it. Kind of doesn't matter too much because we will only do one at a time. So yeah, we'll switch map. Let's go here. Switch map. Creds. To this .auth service .login. With those creds. Pipe. And inside here, we're going to map our response to be response dot. Let's just put it for now to be a login succeeded and user is equal to response.user. We'll clean this up in a little bit and then catch error. Doesn't matter what the error is, we're just going to map this to of login failed. Right, and now we have to get rid of the reds. Let's see. Okay, hopefully we're just missing an operator here. Got switch map, got our catch error, we don't have map. Let's try that. Did that not work? Let's see. Observable. We have of type, we have of type, we have our switch map. Hey Brandon, what's up man? Glad to see you show up just in time for me to catch some red squigglies here. Let's see, we have our login succeeded, it's up there. The user is supposed to be response.user. Let me do what Alex had recommended. Turn that. Oh, that's what it was. Need the of. Need the of. Alright. That was helpful. But I'm going to get rid of it now. Okay, and then what does our response looks like? Response looks like response login. Login response body. What does that look like? Let's jump to login. Login response body looks like either a result of an error or a result of a success. Oh, Brandon, you came in just in time to see me struggle bus with the stuff I set up wrong last time. That's okay. We're going to say here, let's just do it this way. Response.result is equal to success. Then we'll do login succeeded. Otherwise, we'll do login failed. So, there we go. So this should work. So when we dispatch our login or request login, it'll just kind of go out and do that for us. Let's go touch our login component to adjust this. So now we no longer need this in here. So we'll just put in the store. Submit login. We're going to call this .store dispatch request login request. What was the name of that action? Oh, or submit login form. That's what it was. Submit login form. And our props is just going to be this.form.value. Again, I mentioned this before, but this probably don't want to do this because we're sticking the plain text password into the store, or well, at least into the action, which means we'll be able to see it in our Redux Dev Tools. So we'll clean that up later, but just for now, to make sure it's working, we'll run with this for now. So we've got this set up. Let's look at our MD file, see what else we've got to do. I think we got all this. Well, let's add an effect for logout. We actually need. I missed this in the lineup, but we need like a logout method here. Logout. It doesn't matter. We don't really need a body. This is an observable of. I don't know, probably an observable void. It doesn't really matter what comes through. Well, it does. We'll probably change that observable void to something else. But what we're going to do, well, let's copy this. Let's copy this much at least. This. This.hdb client.post. We're just setting the 200 right now, so we're going to log out and like that, and we'll just throw in an empty body. And this is, what is this set about? Observable of object. It's not assignable to type file. Okay, so let's do. How do I want to do this? Just do. Would this take a void? I don't think this would take a void. It does take a void. Whatever. There we go. I think that's the best way to do it. So the logout's just going to give us a 200. So we're just going to say, well, just assume it's a void. So this is that there. Inside of our auth effects now, we'll say we'll have a logout create effect. This dot actions dot pipe of type. We're going to use inside here. What did we call it? Submit logout. There we go. Poor baby out there screaming. I don't know if y'all can hear. He's having a tough time today, Mr. Nap. But now that we have this, do I have a snippet for this? Yeah, I do. Let's see. So I'll switch map that to our logout. If it works, we're going to fire the logout success. If it doesn't, we'll fire a logout failed. So let's do that real quick. Switch map. So it doesn't matter what comes through here. This .auth service .pipe map. Whatever it is, let's do a logout succeeded. Catch error. Logout failed. Go. Save that. We'll just do for now. Figure out what these red squigglies are. Logout. Logout. Go. Logout failed. Boom. Oh, I need an of. Logout. Let's put a $sign on that. Proper finish notation. And there we go. So now when we click logout, we should go and call logout. I am going to create a another effect here. So we'll say remove access token on logout. So we're going to create a new effect here. So we'll say this dot actions dot not auth actions dot pipe of type, and I think we could just put some commas in here. So we want to say logout failed or logout succeeded. We are going to tap and we are going to call this dot auth service dot remove access token. There we go. And then here we'll just have the dispatch set to false, so we don't get our red squigglies, and we need a tap. Imported. There we go. All right, so this is going to, so logout is going to happen whenever we get a submit logout. It's going to actually hit the logout and then have either a success or a failure, depending on whether that call succeeds or fails. Then we have this one. It's like we're daisy chasing this one over to this. If we see either a logout fail or a logout succeeded, we're going to take that for what it is, and we're going to call this .authService.remove access token. So in effect, it's going to remove the access token from local storage. So we'll essentially like discard it. So the our system won't remember it anymore. Which is important because as soon as we log out here, it should be invalidated. So there we go. Let's set up inside of, before we move any further, inside of the auth module. Let's go here. So we're going to want to import here the store module .for feature, and the name is going to be auth, and the reducer is going to be our reducer. There we go. And then we have our effects module .for feature. We put in an array that only contains our auth effects. That should register everything for us. I don't know if register is the right word. It should set up everything for us. We'll go with that. And let's add up here. Well, let's see if that's working first. Maybe that's a good idea. Let's see. I want to check too. When I added this logout, I have the request handler, but I don't think I touched the router yet. So we'll add router.post logout and put logout in here. I think actually use authorized in here too. I think that works, right? Like if I look at post and then some number of handlers. Okay, so that should work. So I want to authorize, but I don't want to authorize on the login, so I don't want to put it on the whole router. I don't want the whole router to use the middleware, but I do want this logout to run authorized first before it does logout. I think that should work. So let's save that. And let's check to see. I bet these things have failed because I think I did some stuff that would cause it to fail. Oh no, look at that. They're chugging along like champs. Let's go check them. Okay. So we have our content post and we're getting a 401 there already. So that's good. I think that's good. Unauthorized, not set. Alright, but if I had my username and password, I think I called that Zach with capital C, and password was just password. Password. Login succeeded. There we go. Login form submit. But I didn't get my new stuff yet. I bet if I refresh, I'll get it. No, I'm still not getting it. Oh, because, okay, that makes sense. I'm going to come back here. We're going to do something in our actually add to the content post effects here real quick. Let's see, content post, that's the back end stuff. I want the front end. Not the auth effects, I want the content effects. State. So we're going to add a new effect in here. Let's put it over here so we have some more real estate. We'll say, so right now we're requesting on creating a new, so that's going out to create a new one. This one is coming from init content post list. So I'm actually going to spawn this instead of on the init contact posts list. I'm going to do this instead on the login succeeded. And let's see if that fixes things. So we're going to have our username of Zach, password is password, and content post came back. It came back as unauthorized. Okay. Let's see what that was about. So let's look at the authorization is right here. Anything from our logs here? So let's log through the middleware. We got the 401. The only place we're returning the 401 is in our middleware right now. So let's open that up. So authorize. There we go. So we'll say console.log here, our access token from header. We'll console.log here, our access token. Not that one. And then past here we'll console.log our user. Let's see if that helps us. Alright, so we've got our username and password. Login. Succeeded. Let's refresh this here. Okay, Zach. Password. Send. Still getting the 401 unauthenticated. Let's see what happened here. Oh, I wonder if we didn't register, if we're not using that middleware properly, because I don't see it. I don't see it happening. Oh, wait, here it is, undefined. Okay, so we got to our first. So we weren't able to get the access token from header. Let's try this. We'll console.log rec.header. I think that's what gives us a whole big old thing. Let's see what it gives us. So let's hit submit. Same thing. Authorization. Oh, it looks like it's going to make that all lowercase, even though it's coming in. Okay, that was my mistake. So we'll do like this, like this. I think that should be enough to fix this problem. Submit. So 401. Let's see if we're getting any further. All right, so we got the access token now, but now we're not seeing it. I find one access tokens. Let's make sure this is the same collection we're creating as the one we're using in login. So login here is creating the access token. There we go. We'll just rename this like this for now. There we go. Content posts. Well, let's see. What does it say? Response. Didn't get anything. What's it doing? Okay, it's hanging. Let's see. Did something blow up? Yes, something blew up. So we got this. We got this. Until handled is not a function. Mongo content post .author_id inline. Okay, so we called this with the wrong thing. Convert to content post. Let's just see everywhere that is getting called. think it shouldn't be that many. That's not the one we're using it here. So we have our Mongo content posts. Our ID. Wonder when we're calling create, did we mess this up? Yes, we did. Okay. Oh wait, maybe not. We create, so this is a body. We have our new post. So we'll say user ID. Wait, insert one. Author ID should be the. I mean, that should be right. Let's see. So I believe let's verify to make sure. So we'll get our git posts and let's just console.log here our Mongo posts. Go. And already that's throwing before we even get over here. So Mongo posts should be an array of Mongo posts. What is this happening? Array.map, anonymous file inside of our git post on line 13. Did I not save this? Oh, maybe I did scroll down. Okay. Oh, okay. Here's the array of all the different posts. The author ID. Oh, we got a bunch of author IDs of one here. Let's just blow it up. Let's go into Mongo, and we're going to db.content. How do we do this? db content posts dot delete. Is there a delete all? Let's see. Delete all is not a function. Let's check Mongo stuff real quick. Mongo. Let's just say Mongo delete collection. Well, let me bring this over so we can Google together. Collection.drop. Okay. Yeah, I think yeah, that's what we need to do. All right, so we're going to say drop. There we go. Now let's try this again. Let's refresh. Say Zach is here. Password is password. Content posts came back. I got 200, but I just nuked everything, so it's all empty. But if now I do this and I say test and submit, it's there. I don't have a logout button right now. Let's try to knock out some of the things I said we'd do real quick. Go over time a little bit, but that's okay. We'll say here. So we'll go right into the app module, or yeah, the app component here. All right. So we want to do like an ngIf on this with an else to say their name. So let's put this over here real quick. Let's put this over here real quick. Inside of our app component, we'll have a constructor. It has a private store is a store. We'll have is logged in is an observable of a boolean is equal to this store dot pipe select. We want to select. We want to create a selector, but all right, let's make that real quick. Can make a selector quick, I think. All quick like. Front end side of our NgRx bucket here, we're going to create a new file, auth selectors.ts. Alright, so export const auth select auth state, create selector, or rather this needs to be a feature selector. Let's pass it the name auth, and then we'll have export const select is logged in is equal to create selector select auth state dot is I need to do that there. Logged in, that's what it is. Let's remove that is from the selector here. And here we'll have export constant select logged in user, create selector, select auth state user. There we go. Alright, now back to here. Our logged in is equal to select logged in. Go back here. We need to export this. Auth selectors. Boom. User select user go and just call us logged in is equal to what did we call that? Not attempted, pending, or logged in. Not attempted or pending or logged in. Go. Blah blah blah. Inside of the template now we can do this. We're going to say ngIf. Well, actually, let's do this. Whoops. Ng container ngIf equals logged in pipe async as logged in. Boom, boom. ngIf equals logged in is equal to not attempted. Don't need the $sign there. Okay, so if I am logged in, I'm going to show the login. I think else will show logged in. Now let's say a username. Yes, that works. And then right here we'll have an ng template, call it that username, and we'll just put, I don't know, an h2 here. And this is going to have user $pipe async sync dot name. Voila. Okay. So if we're logged in, if logged in is equal to not attempted, we're going to show the login thing. Otherwise, We're going to show name. We might not have that if we're pending, though. Let's say this is equal to not attended or pending. Or logged in. Yeah. That looks good. Let's try that. All right. So here we're going to do this. Well, let's do this too. We'll add a little. I hate the way it does this sometimes with that caret hanging off the end. In the case where we are logged in, so we'll have this H2 here, but we'll also have a button. And this will log us out. And we'll call this Logout. Go. Inside of our app component here, we'll have logout. This dot store dot dispatch, not subscribe, dispatch. What is it? Submit logout. Is that what I had? There you go. I think that's enough. Let's see. That figure itself out. Go. Let's refresh here. Oh, yeah, well, no. Okay, so we're going to log in with Zach password. There you go. And now we have the logout button, the ability to create a post, test 2, submit, boom. All right, and logging out, we go back to the login form, but we can still create a post. Well, we can seem like we create a post, it actually fails. But we do want to, that's kind of a crappy experience, so we'll just update that here. We'll just do kind of like the same thing. ng container, not template. I'll say ng if equals logged in pipe async is equal to logged in. Copy. Okay, do this. Let's cancel that. Restart it. I've got a bunch of logging in here. I'm just going to leave that in for now. I'll clean that up after the stream's over. We're already 15 minutes over, but it's going to be so worth it. All right, there it is. There it is. All right, folk. Here we go. Logging in. Oh yeah, there we go. Test 3. Boom. Log out. Oh, it's all gone. It's all gone. It's okay. Just log back in. There it is again. Woo! Fun times. Alright, got basic stuff in. Gotta clean up a bunch of crap, but this was fun. Had a good time. Let's yeah. Had a good time. We'll recap everything we did tomorrow. So, yeah. Thanks everyone for joining. Brandon, if you're still around, thanks for coming out, man. I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye now.